Do. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, listen up, listen up. What is this, passing out candy time now, huh? Cookies?
Yeah, I left them from home.
All right, if I get one, then I'll let it happen. What are there, Snicker rules?
Yeah, they're from Walmart.
Wow, cool, thank you. How about the Packers game, Roy? We already talked
Oh
about
my
it.
gosh.
Chris?
Oh, did you yell at him?
Oh, no.
Yell at him. We're mad at you
Why?
because you're the reason Brian went.
Why?
Because you bullied him so much.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's what he told us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Oh, Bones
No.
my crop.
Oh.
I should take back that cookie.
That's not true.
So
No, it
recorded.
is.
Yes, it is.
Oh
What did
my,
you say to him?
I feel terrible. I was just joking.
Owen!
What? What did I say?
You're making fun of his YouTube channel too much.
No.
What's his YouTube?
Owen's
What's
gonna
his
send
YouTube
an email.
channel?
I think that Star Trek stuff.
I feel terrible. now.
You better send that email. Better send that email.
I'm gonna. I
You
feel
might have to
awful.
edit this out of the video.
Please send back to school.
All right, here we go.
A YouTube video.
Let me go over this.
You should make a YouTube video dedicated to him. If you guys want to get to the group discussion, so we get participation, please be quiet.
Let's get going. Okay, here we go. So the Milgram study, the Milgram experiment. All right, so this is kind of how it's describing, it's graphing the information of the increased voltage over time. And if these people would actually involve with it, if they would actually conform to the study itself and keep these shocks going up. Okay, obviously we know with the experiment, we talked about it yesterday. The learner, the person who was the actor, is not actually getting shocked. But to the teacher, the person administering the test and delivering the shocks, they actually thought that they were inflicting harm onto the person, which I think is pretty interesting. And it just goes to show after the increased voltage, okay, over and over and more, the people's effectiveness with this experiment declined clearly, because it's to the point where you almost could kill the person if you keep these shocks up. All right, so implications here tell us that we have a tendency to obey orders. That's for sure, especially if we're involved in, let's say, experiment or involved in a formal setting, an institution, right? Like school. If we're told to perform these tasks, most likely we'll just conform and perform the task, perform the objective without even thinking. It's like, oh, well, I was told to actually partake in this type of activity. And I think with Milgram's study, especially, this explains a lot in explaining certain cases like you guys read about yesterday with that article, The Science of Evil. And I think many of these individuals that took part in such atrocities like the Holocaust, like these Nazi scientists especially, they're just conforming to what was, they thought in their mind, these orders that were told and what was right. Again, I'm not saying that that was correct or right to do, but with these Nazi scientists, they thought for sure that they're doing the right thing for the development and understanding of sciences of how far the human body can actually go until obviously some repercussions could happen. And let's face it, some of that material, some of that data that was gathered during those experiments, it's really what we utilize today as understanding of how far the body can endure extreme temperatures, right? Extreme cold temperatures or heat, and how far. And there's some examples of experiments that I did some research on that I thought was interesting after reading the article with G-force. Okay, how fast, obviously with these jets that were being created during World War II, how much the body could withstand without levels of oxygen, depending on how far they go up in the sky, and when someone will pass out after a certain amount of force and the movement of these jet planes and these jet fighters, which again, terrible act to do to these people. But again, this data that was gathered from it is still widely used today. I still feel terrible.
He's gonna be
You
reflecting
sound
on
like
his
you
own.
feel terrible.
I know. I'm not enthusiastic anymore. My day is ruined.
Was he assaulted or what?
No, Bowman just did it a lot.
Yeah, he-
It was like with the
Brian
Christmas
can
balls.
take it, but, like,
Bowman's
as
roasting
it
you a
goes
lot.
on.
He comes
I
from
really
all of us.
don't think we should Bowman meant it though.
No, I didn't.
His
He got
jokes.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would talk about it in first period and he got really
Is he a nerd or what?
Hey, zip it. All right. So obviously, this experiment, does it pass ethical guidelines? No, right? We know that this could cause psychological effects to these people, especially the teachers in this experiment. They had no clue that this was all a show. They had no clue that this was just an experiment. And these people were pushed to the amount of the levels to the point where they were affected by it. It's like, I actually can't believe I continue this voltage. I can't believe I continue to shock these people after they get these questions wrong. And then afterwards, yeah, they were told, hey, it was just an experiment. It was just a simulation. We weren't actually delivering these voltages to these people. But just accepting the matter of, I went along with it. It was a part of my job. Was kind of, I wouldn't say it's a sigh of relief knowing it was just an experiment, but it's like, I can't believe I actually conformed to these actions. Okay, and actually getting involved with it. And with that being said, after World War II, through the Nuremberg trials, I'm sure you guys talked about that with World War II. Maybe not. Okay, I don't know if you guys got that far in your history classes yet or not. But with the Nuremberg trials, a lot of these individuals, these generals, these scientists from Nazi Germany all accepted it. They're just like, yeah, I partook in these actions. I just follow along. Okay, I was conforming to what was told, the authoritative figure in our life. Like Hitler and the Nazi Party and some of these officials, they're telling them to perform these tasks, and they followed suit. They didn't think about the repercussions. They didn't really feel and think of really this ethical erosion, okay, and how this over time really make them resemble monsters in a way. So again, reflecting, looking back at it, with Nazi Germany, especially the fear of and the paranoia of maybe being watched by the government, or maybe how your life could be ended if you're not performing these activities and these objectives, that obviously played a huge role in these military officials, these scientists' lives. It's like, oh, well, if I don't keep up with these actions, or if I don't continue this job, then I could be dead. My whole family could be killed, could be maybe pushed out of the country, whatever have you. All right, so was it ethical? No, we all know it wasn't, right? There's a lot of psychological damages to these people knowing that they conformed to the study and just continued on with the electrical volts. Pretty self-explanatory. So is there any questions on that, the Milgram study? Again, I just want to give you a bell ringer here just because this will be the second one, right? The fifth one for this week. Oh, wow, 5 points. Look at that. Not bad.
The second one. you're
I thought I only had
short.
2. Well, I had teach 4 classes, so I kind of forget how many we had.
It's true. Lately,
Well,
we've
4 preps. It's like, is it psych? Is it American history? Is it government? So, gee whiz. All right, describe the Milgram experiment. Detail why this experiment is significant and how it relates to groups and conformity. There we go.
Are you just gonna check on here then?
Can you text him and tell him I'm sorry? I didn't mean it.
Make her apology.
I'm gonna email him. Yeah, I will. What do you tell you?
You and Matt forget.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he heard from you.
Yeah, that's what Matt forget. He
Yeah.
told
Did
me.
they?
Matt heard it from
Gonzalez say
Brian.
something too?
Chris was always bad.
Oh, I think Chris said that too. Yeah, Chris talked to me.
Yeah. Your bell ringer is to write an email.
Huh? What's that?
I said, your bell ringer is to write that email.
Yeah. Sure. This is not a funny matter. Proofread it. Why do I misspell some things?
You did yesterday when you're writing our amendments.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, ammunition.
Yeah, you could not find this.
That was bad.
Okay,
To be honest, I was typing it in. I was trying to get the next person. I'm like, oops, wow, that was
Yeah.
terrible.
I turned around and I was like, did you just spell it wrong? He's like, I don't know. No, Brock was making fun of you. Yeah.
I know he was. Whatever.
No, he's not smart when he's making fun of it.
Ammunition. Yeah, whatever.
He would say that. He did. I was like, Yeah, but we were born on day one. I don't know. I would do that. People are sure not to like it. You're just so mature. No worries. I have a link for you too. Bye. Bye, can I get my list of homework? Oh, I drove like 2 hours. When can you get? Mine is in February. Mine's in March. I got it third. I got a late birthday. Moody. Mine yesterday. I got like I thought was in April. That's where my appointment is. But I looked at the other places and they're back up to like April. Yeah, some places are really back up. I like to see what's up to mine. I scheduled my test today on my phone. Yeah, mine like really right only, you know. If not, then like you're not gonna make me end the ones you're out here. Sealed was good, but the guy made me really, I was shaking in my car. That got me so nervous. And then I didn't listen to the one thing he said. He was talking so quiet. Me too. And he goes, "You better back up now." I was like, "Okay, I feel better." No, I fixed myself though, so it was okay. Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Milgram experiment. What do we have?
Did you email it? Did you email me?
Don't worry about it. Leah?
Milgram experiment was an experiment performed to test how far people would go in high stress situations. People were taken and told to shock a person with higher voltages every time they got a question wrong. Most people just kept going along with it, and at the end they told the person the shocks weren't real, but that didn't make the situation any better.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So with the Milgram experiment, this is showing how obedience, how conformity to certain groups, and how far people actually go. And an explanation to see exactly what these people of Nazi Germany, these citizens, the military officials, the soldiers, okay, why they performed the tasks that they did, and have somewhat of an explanation to it. Okay. And I know with the article yesterday discussing about some of the Nazi experiments and how they were very terrible. Okay, obviously with the sciences, it created a lot of insight of how far actually the human body could go. But we know the repercussions to it, how terrible it was to many of these poor individuals that were on the other end of the experiments. All right, so good work with that. Let's talk about the article, the discussion. What do you guys think of the article? It was very disturbing. I thought so too. And it kind of just shows how far people will actually go under certain circumstances. the guy from, what was it, Australia, had his daughter in the basement.
Oh, that was.
That was really terrible.
Well,
There's a movie on that, by
They
the way.
were all terrible. Beating your child to death? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Oh, did you see it? When did it come out?
I don't know. I forget what it's called, but like, yeah, literally, he like put her in the basement and like they made him think that like she died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raped her multiple
He had
times.
like 6 kids.
Yeah, with him,
Kids.
the father, the
I
dad.
remember that.
Pretty crazy. And
Yeah, I think it's Room.
What?
No, Room is not that.
Oh,
but
Room's
Room's
has it in a shed in the backyard. And,
well, similar plot, right? Similar summary.
having to beat your child to death against a pole.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, forcing their mothers to kill and beat their children.
Son having to sleep with you and then he gets murdered in front of you.
That
and then you
too.
get
Yeah.
raped anyway, and
Yeah.
your children get taken, your husband's killed.
Anyway, the article is pretty gruesome, right?
Yeah.
And in some cases, hard to read, and it just kind of goes to show how far. The main idea was just how far these people would actually go to conform to certain groups, and we can just relate it to school and with athletics and jocks, and like I mentioned before with the group think and how people just conform to a certain idea of a question asking class. But it expands even more than that to some of these cruel and unusual punishments to some people and evil things and evil acts placed onto people in these certain circumstances and what people can do in a group just to try to fit in or just to try to conform. We all know that with fear, with paranoia, that could cause some of these people to act like this as well, like these Nazi scientists. Okay, what do you guys think of that story with the hands?
How does
It
that?
was right in the beginning. How could he even do that?
I have a question about.
You gonna get down there?
Where?
Yeah, I'm going with
Oh, yeah, I'm coming with. Yeah, I forgot about that. You just want me to drive down the?
you. I'm just going, I'm heading down now, so I get down, I think. And we're gonna be back by like 4:50.
Yeah, well, sixth period starts, 12:19, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just meet you down there.
So if your hands were cut off, that means you're cutting your tendons and everything.
That's what I was wondering
So
too,
if
like
you
with the
sew it
pulse.
on backwards, you wouldn't be able to function it because your tendons were cut. And that's
Yeah, how
not
can
gonna
you
heal.
even move your hands?
So you wouldn't be able to use them. They'd just be dead limbs sewn onto your
Just-
body.
Yeah,
Wouldn't they like go black?
I
Well,
would think so
they
too.
would,
Like there's no blood flow through to the hand.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. It's pretty crazy though, isn't it?
You could function without hands. Yeah, but
You
like,
could, but
Yeah,
still.
A lot of people on that. I see this guy on TikTok and he has no hands and he does makeup and stuff and oh my god.
TikTok, here we go again.
yeah.
Poor
There's
Peyton.
Everything on
everything.
TikTok. There are people without
Like he
anything
puts the
to
brush in his armpit and just like
Oh, all right.
it's crazy.
With extreme temperatures, though, we talked a little bit about some of these Nazi experiments on these people, putting them into, very, very low temperatures like water, snow, you name it, seeing how long the body can actually last through hypothermia, and pretty disgusting things done to these individuals.
Having to hang your best friend.
Hanging your best friend, yeah, unbelievable. And the person being hung is like, hey, I know you didn't kill me. I know this was just because you're conforming. It's like, I get it. And like kissed him on the cheek, right?
And then he did it himself.
Yeah.
What about the one with water?
What's that?
I said, what about the one with water?
We talked about it.
Like freezing it?
Yeah, the freezing water. But there are some other ones that I read about. Like I said, just to seeing how far up in the air people can last without, let's say, a gas mask, an oxygen mask, and seeing when people will pass out from low oxygen. And those were tests done by some of the Nazis as well, which some of these experiments were terrible, but they gave a lot of insight of actually how far the body can really last. I'm not saying it was good or anything, but again, it's just some of the data that was presented. Obviously, people would never do that to someone. That's kind of why they reach those objectives, those scientific goals, but it was terrible actions. All right, is there any questions on that? All right, so I want to start the video up. I wanted to play it today, but like the whole thing, we'll just only get a little bit of it. Oh yeah, let me check the bell ringers. I'll give you a grade for that.
If you finish the video on Monday, or you can have it anywhere on Canvas.